college football, NFL football right around the corner. And this time we've always told you we're going to get some information together that's going to build towards the football season and information that makes sense. Understand this as well. Prop bets that we like. I just shot a couple videos this morning on a couple wide receivers that I have. Well, if they get injured, things are going to change. Same thing with this college football evolution, but we're not going to wait, Jeff, till the day before the season starts or Ohio State plays back. Here's my top 5. We're letting the people know early about that here, Jeff. So, Jeff Nadeau loves his college football. The top 5 teams that Jeff has for the 2026 football season, Jeff, number 5. Go ahead, let it be known.
Yeah, and before we get into 5, obviously it's Georgia there, but a couple of teams that you want to wait till after, or do you want me to get?
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll go top 5, Jeff, and then you give your thoughts on teams that just missed it. It makes sense now that it's up. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, we'll go number 5, the Georgia Bulldogs. Yeah. I talked about Gunnar Stockton. I thought he was fantastic, really, towards the rest of the season. I really like them on offense. He's going to be able to kind of steer that ship for them. He's fantastic. That game against I forget who it was late in the season. He was awesome. You look at that offensive line, always very good. They don't always have elite stars per se, but Branch is a legitimate weapon for them. And they've lost McConkey. They've lost Brock Bowers. They've had some good ones. But from a receiver standpoint, they don't always have that pronounced big play type of guy. I think they have it this year. Defensively, they bring back 21 kids that were important to what they did. They always have strong defenses there. I think heading into the season, it's really not a question. To me, they're the best team in the SEC. I think Texas is kind of right behind them. You obviously have Ole Miss as well, but Kirby Smart, we know him as being a guy who's always proverbially in the top 3, 4. Georgia might be a little low, but I think there are 4 teams better than them. They should be a top 5 team to me headed into the season. Georgia,
taking a look, taking a look here, Jeff, for you. We got at the bigger games, right? At Arkansas on September 19th. You get Oklahoma at home. Vanderbilt obviously used to be like one of those pass-by games, no longer anymore. They have them at home. Then they go to at Alabama, have Auburn, then take on Florida, which is obviously the world's biggest outdoor cocktail party. At Ole Miss, Missouri, and it's crazy too. Like a lot of these teams, like we're going to get to Notre Dame. I'm pretty sure, Jeff, in your list, where it's like, the hell kind of schedule is this? Well, you earn your stripes in the SEC, man. You do.
You do every night of the week. And you look at even like at the bottom, how improved has Vanderbilt, a team like that, been? They're not that doormat
used to be a
like
step
they
over.
were.
Yeah,
sure. Even teams like Kentucky, like it's always difficult to go to, Lexington in the middle of the year. So you're getting a game every week. They'll have 1 or 2 weeks where they play the Citadel or something. But the SEC is very good top to bottom. And to say you're the best team in the SEC, you're always going to be top 5.
Rocking and rolling here, Jeff. Number 4 on your list for top 5 teams in 2026.
It's Oregon, the Ducks, who, I think we have to ask ourselves, at what point will they become the team that we expect them to be? They're always kind of right there.
Knocking on the door,
look,
man.
Mm-hmm. Under Dan Lanning, they've been very good against teams they should beat. But against the really good teams in college football, Donnie, they just aren't as up to par. I mean, you look at the fact that against teams that ended up in the national title game over the last 3 seasons, Oregon's 1-5 against those teams. Against everybody else, 37-0. So they do what they do. Lanning is terrific. They had a good season last year. They bring back Dante Moore, who is a obvious Heisman candidate, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. The skill position players are deep. They have one of the best rosters overall in college football. They not only bring in big transfers, but they brought in really impressive transfers from smaller schools. One of the best receivers you don't know about is a person at UAB, Iverson Hooks. They bring him in. He caught a lot of passes for one of the top passing per play offenses in the country. Guys that could just create. They're going to obviously hep up a little bit to bigger levels, but there's a lot of offense on that team. You look at the defense, it's stacked. They've got a great defensive line. You win in college football and really in football in general by in the trenches. Oregon's got a really good group up front and on the defensive line, and they have one of the best quarterbacks in the country. My question is, can they take that next step and beat a really good football team and become great?
Yeah, you take a look at last year, Jeff. They did have some nice wins on their schedules, no doubt about it. But they were home against Indiana, Jeff. Lost that game. You might say to yourself, like, oh, well, the time would be different if they caught them again. They did. They lost that game again to Indiana. They're in that top 5 every single year. We're just waiting for that one final victory for them. But also, Jeff, this year, Couple big ball games, late September at USC, and then at Ohio State in November. Boy, you like to have those games in your building, which, again, they probably had last year, not this year. 2 tough road games here. But what we do like, Jeff, is with the expanded college football playoff, you could probably afford to lose both of those games and still make it in.
They also just didn't lose to Indiana. They got wrecked by Indiana and gave up 56 points. They were down 35-7 at the half. It was an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Look, let's just also be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, Oregon played James Madison in the first round. They gave up 34 points. Look, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
They have to kind of – college football is a one-game thing a lot of the time. It's a little different now with the playoff. But, like, at the end of the day, there's 3 or 4 really good teams and everybody else. If you can't beat those 3 or 4 really good teams, you're just another team. And that's how Oregon has been for years, right? Yeah. So they have to go out and this is the team that can do it. This team is better, if arguably good, if not better than the team last year. So there's really no excuses this year.
No excuses this year. Now, a team last year that you might have thought caught fool's gold, but Cignetti's a really good football coach, Jeff. Number 3, who is that for you?
Indiana. And I think hypothetically you could put Indiana even a little higher on this list.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make a case. Look, obviously I'm not going to say Fernando Mendoza is terrific. Okay.
Yes.
But when Fernando Mendoza came into Indiana, he was the same. It's the same situation that Josh Hoover's coming into. I'm going to tell you right now, coming into Indiana, Josh Hoover is like the better quarterback to me.
Really?
Mendoza became, Mendoza became insanely good and won the Heisman. But Hoover is a gunslinger. I mean, he is a good quarterback. Getting him in there under that coach, that is really unfair to me. You also look at the fact that Indiana brings back a bunch of talent. They definitely lost talent, clearly, losing their quarterback and some others. But, like, Turbo Richard, who they brought in as a running back, is better than, like, Roman Hemby was. Their receiver core, Charlie Becker's terrific. He was kind of a darling of the Final 12 last year. They bring in Nick Marsh, a high-level receiver from Michigan State. Defensively, they've got all sorts of talent up front. They're another team that really kind of understand and get the whole thought of you've got to be good in the trenches. We don't talk enough about how good their offensive lines have been, that sort of thing. Hoover obviously takes chances. He's obviously got to cut down on that a little bit. But you look at kind of how they do it. Curtis Rourke, Mendoza, Josh Hoover. I'm not doubting that guy. Indiana is still very good. And I think they're right up there as the top team in the Big Ten.
Jeff, we just talked about, Oregon. It's like, okay, well, sometimes on a year-to-year basis, it's where you play teams to give yourself an advantage. Oregon doesn't have that advantage. I take a look at Indiana's slip this year, Jeff. October 17th, Ohio State, home in Indiana. November the 14th, home against USC. Their schedule looks like it plays out really in their favor with the teams that they're playing here. So another chance where you have them in their top 5. So obviously, looks like, Jeff, another playoff run here for the Indiana Hoosiers in 2026.
Yeah, and look, that's another thing. They've been blessed with some good schedules the last couple of years,
Sure.
and Cignetti is the best coach in the country. And you throw in, out of all 3 of the quarterbacks I mentioned that they've brought in, the most promising, like, coming in is, like, Hoover's really good. I thought they were terrific to land him. From a transfer standpoint, that's the kind of guys you're getting now. So, yeah, he's going to be ready. They've talked very highly of him there. He's just a guy who just tries to get better every day. So, yeah, I'm very high on Indiana. Outside of one team, I think they're the best team in the Big Ten and arguably the best team in the country.
Number 2, Jeff, in your top 5 for 2026. Who is that?
Notre Dame.
Woo, boy.
Notre Dame, yeah.
Right.
And look, obviously, you talked about the schedule. Obviously, It's helpful that they're not
a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. And I've raved about Freeman. I love Marcus Freeman. I think he's terrific. What he did really over the last year or two, especially last year, with times in the first 4 or 5 games of the season, their defense was terrible. I mean, it's hideous. He went in, they made wholesale changes, and he coached. He didn't just deviate to someone else. He coached. He said, this is not working. We are going to remove people that can't get the job done and replace them with people that can. Do you know where they ended up finishing, Donnie, defensively? Very high, 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. That was something I thought would have been unheard of when I looked at them at the beginning of the year. They bring back one of the best quarterbacks in the country in CJ Carr. And yeah, they did lose some running backs in Jeremiah Love and to Darian Price, but Carr's back. The receiver group is really, really good. They've got a bunch of kids to throw the football to. The offense, I'm not worried about at all. And again, this defense took such a step forward over the final, let's say, 8 to 10 games of the season. They created turnovers. And not only did they do that, but the team coming in this year, they welcome in some new faces who are just high-level recruits, whether it be from Oregon, Pitt. They're just really good at every position on the field. And they're led by, to me, a coach that just doesn't get enough love. He is a real coach who the players relate to. Notre Dame is really, really good.
Yeah, you get to win a championship, you got to be in it, Jeff. And you look at their schedule. Like, they do play the Miami Hurricanes November the 7th, but it is at home as opposed to last year where they opened up. They had back-to-back losses to open the season against two really good football teams, then rolled the rest of the way like they were should have, and maybe some things didn't go their way there, and which votes come in, which now Notre Dame has that extra ace up their sleeve, which basically says, hey, you can lose 6 games, and we're probably still going to put you into the college football playoff, but not denying this. Notre Dame will be, Jeff, if I had one wager, I don't care what the price was, to say, give me a football team that you know is going to be in the NCAA expanded playoffs this year, it's Notre Dame. Notre Dame is getting there automatically with that schedule, unless we always say, look, injuries to quarterbacks, to running backs, and Marcus Freeman just quits the team as the head coach. They will be in the college football playoff.
Sure. They're such a huge brand that you're not going to, even if they, let's say we're on the fringe, it's like you're not leaving them out. But they're not going to be in that. They're proverbially in the top 5. Yeah. There was a strong thought to me to make them the number 1 team on this list. Mm-hmm. I look at their team and I just don't see many inefficiencies. Like, they're just high level at every spot. But we'll get to number 1. It's going to be the Ohio State Buckeyes. And how couldn't they? I mean, I talked about Sayin during the top 5 quarterbacks. Yeah. I'm very high on him. I thought he just got better and better as the season went on. Really, really good. And they have one of the best receivers in the country in Jeremiah Smith. The defense, there's some changes there, especially from a coordinator standpoint. But again, there's not a lot for me to come in here and be like, oh, I'm going to do this position by this position. These teams get the best players at every level. You talk about a team that had a defense last year. They were just impenetrable at times, it seemed like, or the last couple of years even. Yeah. And look, I will say, I mean, obviously, Indiana's now in the mix, but they've generally fared very well in their conference. It's hard to go in there and win. There's just not a lot I have to say about Ohio State. They have the best offense in the country. They dominate up front. They dominate on the defensive line. Problem is, and the big knock is, pretty tough schedule, which I'm sure you'll get to. Yeah, and also taking a look at some of those names on the roster now. The running back, Jeff, I see is Bo Jackson. That's not Bo Jackson's kid, is it? Otherwise, it'd be Bo Jackson Jr.? No. Just name Bo Jackson? Because there's another one on there, Chris Henry Jr., which I'm pretty sure is the wide receiver Chris Henry's kid, who's now a freshman in college, Jeff. Yeah, we were talking about that before. I think Bo Jackson, I think he's from that area. He's a high-level kid from that area. But, look, they've got – good Lord. Yeah, they've got names everywhere. They've got high-level players everywhere. Again, you look at last year, Donnie, 9.3 points a game they gave up defensively. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty unbelievable. They've had historically good defenses. And what's crazy is, they lose players. So Caleb Downs goes to the NFL. Carnell Tate goes to the NFL. Well, what do you have next? Oh, you have Jeremiah Smith, who's just a pipeline. The type of receivers they put out is just insane. Do me a favor, Donnie, go through their schedule, will you? Yeah, schedule here is they open up, obviously, it's Ball State layup. Then they go to Texas, Jeff. Right away off the bat, Texas at Ohio State. That's going to take place in Austin on the 12th. Other tough games, Jeff, at Indiana, October the 17th. And then also they get a bye week after that. But then, Jeff, go right back out to USC after that. And after that game, Oregon at home. Gauntlet right there, man. It's definitely tough. I mean, throwing the fact, going to Iowa's not easy. No, going to Nebraska's not easy. Obviously, they're improved. Be cold, too. They do get Michigan at home. They get Illinois at home. I mean, for this team, it's tough, but it is navigatable. As you talked about, if they go down to Austin and lose, 24-21, I mean, it's not going to it's not going to derail them, right?
I love that. By the way, I love that. I like, you look at the teams that you just named in your top 5 too, Jeff. Like if we were dating ourselves to the BCS era, like, hey, if these teams lose one game, they're not going to play. Like, I love the fact that these teams are going to play really good football games, use them as measuring sticks, and if you lose 1 or 2 of those, I still get to watch them in a college football playoff. I love the expanded college football playoff, Jeff, because you're right. Ohio State lose to Oregon. Oh, there goes Ohio State out of it. No. Like, we want the best teams in that tournament at the end of the season, and I like the fact that now they can lose a game or 2 and possibly 3 and still make it in.
Exactly. And that's the great thing about it. I don't think anybody should complain there. Just a couple of teams that kind of just missed the list.
Go ahead. Yep.
Texas, I had in. I would make them 5A or in this case 6. I love Arch Manning. To me, the big question with Texas is they're 2. Are they as good in the trenches as some of these other teams? Because that can be a real problem. Some of the issues Texas has had are coaching and problems with personnel. For instance, a couple of years ago, struggled in the red zone. If you don't score touchdowns in the red zone, you will lose. Donnie, if you look at Indiana the last 2 years, red zone touchdown percentage, extremely high. If you get down to the red area and you don't score, you're not going to win. Number 2, it's just the thought of Sarkisian, right? Can they get up over the hump? And I kind of am in a similar predicament with Oregon because they just haven't had enough. Not everything. They just haven't had enough. I'd also throw, obviously, Miami right in there as well. I think offensively, when you look at this team on offense, I mean, I don't know what you could say about not liking. Everything about them is good. You just hope that the Darian Mensah experiment works out, and it should. He's a great quarterback. He gets his top wideout, Cooper Barkate from Duke, to come over. You obviously have Malachi Toney. You've got, Fletcher back as well. To me, though, the defense, you obviously lose so many high-quality players. Ruben Bain, Mesidor, all these different guys. I'd also throw in maybe like an Ole Miss, like kind of right to round out the top 8.
Pete Golding?
Yeah, Golding. Yeah, I love kind of their momentum. I love Trinidad Chambliss, which I talked about. Kejuan Lacey's back also. Is the defense going to set that bar? I think A&M's a top 10 team. Maybe you throw Texas Tech or LSU in there or Texas A&M. A lot of really good teams. Now, I won't say some wild things like Joe Lisi, who made a case that John Mateer is better than Arch Manning, which is insane.
Bigger stats. We'll see.
I like John Mateer, but come on, man.
We'll see. By the way, Miami, you take a look at them and say to yourself, well, they lost their quarterback again, but understand this. Like, sometimes you just have to trust in the process, as we say. They got a transfer in Cam Ward a couple years ago. Worked out really good for Miami. They got another transfer in Carson Beck. Took him to the national championship games. Like, they're going to try another free agent route. It's worked out well for Miami. We'll see if it does again this year because Mensah, really good quarterback. Expectations once again high. But college football right around the corner, Jeff. I think it's a pretty good top 5. And again, always evolving as well. New information comes up in a couple weeks that you want to make some changes to, you can do it. But as it sits, July 20th, that's what we're looking at for college football. So excited for that, Jeff. Season on the horizon and a lot of big things in store.